I've tried every single business model you can think of. Dropshipping, SMMA, reselling, Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing, faceless YouTube, even a chatbot agency at one point. And you know why none of them worked? It's because I didn't. Now, I know that sounds quite harsh, but stick with me for a second. Because in reality, that's just half of the answer. The other half of the answer is something that nobody really talks about. And it's the reason that 95% of people who try to make money online end up quitting after just 1 year. It's not because they're lazy, and it's definitely not because they didn't want it bad enough. It's also not because dropshipping is dead or agencies are oversaturated, because that's just not true. It's because we've all been lied to about how business actually works and operates. So in the next 13 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly why every single business model you've tried hasn't ended up sticking, even though plenty of people are crushing it in that exact same industry, in the exact same space that we're talking about that is oversaturated. I'm also going to show you how the gurus are lying to you in a specific way where it keeps you hooked and it keeps you in this whole effect of keep watching, but still doing nothing. But I'll also give you the framework for the one skill that I chose that can pay you more than learning 40 skills combined, which is what running a business actually is. Now, at the end, I'm also going to tell you which skill I personally chose, why I chose it, and how it took me from washing dishes at 18 to making over 20 grand a month at just the age of 21. So let's get into it. Now, let me give you a quick rundown of what I've actually tried before all of this and why. You see, I started when I was 16. I'm 21 now. So that is 5 years of trying things, losing money, failing, and repeating. But during that period of time, I've slowly pieced together what actually ends up working. You see, dropshipping was first, and I was 17 at the time. I spent 2 months researching products. I was building the store, I was setting everything up, I was creating ads. And to be honest with you, I lost about 800 pounds in just under 3 weeks, and I only made about 200 back from the ad budget. Then after that, I decided to try influencer marketing. Posted a bit of fitness content on TikTok for a few months. Did get to about 1,000 followers, something like that. But I had no offer, no monetization, no systems, no plan, no nothing basically. I just had attention that couldn't be monetized. Then I tried social media marketing. I went all in on this one. I cold DM nearly 1,000 people. I ended up getting just 2 clients. And to be honest, I ended up working about 50 hours a week for less than 2 grand a month and probably about $10 an hour. After that, I tried reselling vintage clothes. So I went to my local vintage shop. I bought up a bunch of clothes that I thought were slightly cheaper and I tried to sell them then on Vinted. But that didn't make me any money and I was in negative and I was left with a bunch of vintage clothes that I didn't even like myself. Now let's move on to Amazon FBA because I've also tried that. Now this one I took really seriously because I really wanted to make it work and it needed a large capital up front, which I didn't really have. So I ended up not being able to buy any of the bulk products. I ended up not selling anything. And basically it was just at a net negative overall. Now my final one before I actually made some money was my chatbot agency, which I essentially created chatbots for healthcare companies like dentists or like doctors to try and help them book more meetings. But that also didn't work out. And I actually also tried a carpet cleaning business. Now bear in mind, some of these did make me a bit of money, but most of them just lost me money. And none of them gave me what I truly wanted, which was the time and the location freedom that I was looking for. But I also just wanted a skill that I truly owned and that I could take anywhere at the end of the day. And here's the thing that essentially messed with my head for years. You see, I'd see people crushing it with the exact same business models that I was trying. Dropshippers were doing 100K months, agency owners with 7-figure businesses about to exit. So either they were all lying, which they clearly weren't, or I was just missing something. And eventually I figured out what it was. So you may be asking yourself, why didn't they actually work? Like I said at the start, the ultimate reason as to why all these business models didn't work is because I didn't. And I really want to clarify what I mean by that. And it's not me saying that I just wasn't good enough. What I mean is every single one of those business models needs to be operated perfectly in order for them to work and actually make you money. Because at the end of the day, other people were making them work, right? Their systems functioned properly and the opportunity was genuinely real. The reason it didn't work for me is because I didn't truly understand what business actually meant and how it worked, but also what it required. Because I thought when I was getting into these businesses that I was learning one thing, but it turns out I was trying to master 40 different skills that had taken other people years just to master the singular ones. And essentially it was 40 different skills wearing one name. And I was trying to learn every single one of those in less than 3 months while also working a part-time job and trying to clean dishes. It was ridiculous. So at the end of the day, that's not a skill issue, that's just a setup issue. And the thing is, the gurus you watch on YouTube, they don't really tell you this, because if you did, you wouldn't end up buying their course. Look at it this way. Every single guru on YouTube explains business really simply. Just start a Shopify store, find a winning product, run some ads, and make some money. They seem to make it very, very, very simple. Or for example, the SMMA ones, just start an agency, outreach to clients, provide a service, and charge them. Again, painted to be very, very simple. Or the personal brand ones, just build an audience, sell a product to them, make a lot of money. Again, a lot of sub skills that aren't being talked about in there. It's always pretended as this very clean 3-step process, as if business is just one skill that you can master in 90 days, which it isn't. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm also a part of this because I too fell into this lie and I actually grew up watching it. I believed it. I tried it. Okay, dropshipping is a skill. I'll learn it. Okay, SMMA is a skill. I'll learn it. At the end of the day, business or any model is a stack of layers and sub skills that you need to learn in order for the business to actually operate and make you a good enough amount of money. And underneath those sub skills, there are even more sub skill sets that you have to learn to create the actual pillars of the business, essentially. And then there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more, basically. Because if you think about it, dropshipping isn't a skill. Dropshipping is product research, copywriting, video creative, media buying, email marketing, customer service, supply negotiation, financial management, brand building, website optimization, ad creative research. That's literally 10 skills, and those skills even sub-skill into a different skill. Do you see what I mean? It's endless. I'll paint it this picture. SMMA is also not a skill. SMMA is cold outreach, it's sales calls, it's client onboarding, it's an ad strategy, it's creative direction, it's reporting, it's communication, it's retention. It's the exact same thing. There's just like 20 skill sets beneath this topic, right? So when a guru says that I'll teach you dropshipping in 90 days, what they're actually trying to say is I will somehow teach you 50 different skill sets that take people years to master in less than 90 days. And then they wonder why they don't actually get results after learning all that. And let me show you what I mean by a very specific breakdown. Take dropshipping, for example. It's the very surface level skill sets. The surface level skill is selling products online. It sounds really simple, right? Now there's layer 1, the skills you need just to operate the business. Product research, supplier vetting, store building, ad creatives, ad buying, order fulfillment, customer support, financial tracking, inventory management. That's 9 skills right there. Again, let's go to layer 2 now. The sub skills that make those skills actually end up working. Within ad buying, you need to understand audience targeting. You need to understand creative testing. You need to understand attribution windows, scaling protocols, kill rules, pixel optimization. And within product research, you need to understand market saturation, seasonality, profit margin math, supplier reliability, competitor benchmarking. Now let's go to layer 3, the foundational skills that are underneath all of that. Copywriting, psychology, numbers and units of economics, negotiation, product management, time blocking, decision making under uncertainty. Now multiply that across every single business model. Affiliate marketing has its own 40 different sub skills. Faceless YouTube has about 50. Agency again has its own 40. And here's the thing that nobody's telling you. Even with one business model, the people who succeed didn't learn all of those 40 skills at once at the end of the day. They were exceptional at maybe 3 or 4 of them, and they hired or partnered for the rest. So you're sitting there at 19 or 20 alone in your bedroom trying to be an exceptional employee for 40 different skill sets in just 3 months. So it's not that you're failing, it's that the thing you set out to do is logistically impossible in a way. Now there's an old quote you've probably heard, which is jack of all trades, master of none. Most people just repeat the first half of that quote, and the full quote actually ends with master of none. And in some areas of life, that is quite true. At the end of the day, the generalists win and the adaptability ends up mattering. But in business, specifically in online business, in the stage you're actually currently at right now, the original cutoff version is correct. Jack of all trades, master of none. Because you don't get paid for being decent at 40 things. You get paid at the end of the day for being exceptional at 1. Think about how money actually flows in this world. The best surgeon in the city makes 10 times the amount of what an average surgeon makes, even though they both went through medical school. Now let's take lawyers, for example. They charge 5 times the amount of an average lawyer. Or even the best copywriters pull in 10K per sales page that takes the average copywriter weeks to draft. At the end of the day, skill compounds essentially, but mediocrity doesn't. So the question isn't how do I learn 40 different skills fast? The question is which one skill can I choose that I can get exceptional at? And the solution is actually quite simple, but it's just hard in execution essentially. You pick one skill and you get really fucking good at it. That's the secret sauce. You don't get I know enough to charge people kind of skill set. You get exceptional at it. The kind of good where people will seek out for you specifically. And that's the point where you can charge complete premium prices because nobody around you is at the level that you're at. And let me explain why this works as a whole. When you're exceptional at one skill, you can plug that skill into any business. So you essentially become this like irreplaceable piece. It's like a motherboard in a PC. If you've ever tried to build a PC, you need the motherboard, otherwise the PC just won't fucking work. Or if you're an exceptional copywriter, for example, every business needs you. Agencies, course creators, e-commerce brands, SaaS companies, they'll all pay you for that one skill. Or if you're an exceptional video editor, for example, it's the same exact thing. Every creator, every brand, every agency is going to want solely you. Or let's say if you're a sales closer, which is the path I personally went down. Every coaching program, every high-ticket resource, every premium service needs a really good closer so that the company can be fed. So now you go from being someone trying to build a business, managing 40 different things badly, to being a specialist that business can't ignore and can't even replace you. And trust me, the income will reflect that as well, because mediocre generalists make around 30K a year, but now exceptional specialists can make anywhere from 30K a month upwards with the exact same effort, just very different positioning in where they're at. So how do you actually choose this one skill? Because at the end of the day, not all skills are equal. Here are the 3 personal filters I use. Filter number 1, does this skill pay you directly without requiring you to also build a business around it? Because some skills are amazing in theory, but they also require you to be a marketer, a brand builder, an entrepreneur. For example, web design is an amazing skill, but to make money from web design, you also have to learn client acquisition, you have to learn contracts, you need to learn project management. So you're back to these 40 different skill sets. And the skills I rate the highest are the ones where someone else owns the business and they pay you for the very specific outcome you produce, essentially. So sales is very similar to this. Copywriting is also like this. Editing is also like this. Now here's my second filter. Does the skill actually compound? Will you be more valuable in 5 years than you are right now if you keep practicing? Compare 2 skills. For example, running Facebook ads, which changes almost every 12 months. Meta pixel changes completely. And if you tried to apply the same ad strategy you applied 20 years ago, it just wouldn't work. Whereas if we now look at a salesperson, like a closer, sales hasn't changed in the past 100 years. You still use the same psychology techniques to help someone buy a specific product, right? And it compounds over time because you get better and better and better at it. Now, my filter number 3 is, can you start earning from it within 90 days with no audience, no capital, and no existing network? This is the filter that most people end up skipping because some skills are great long-term, but require you to be quite broke basically for like 2, 3, or even 4 years. It's kind of like a startup. And if you don't have 2 to 3 years of savings, which is most people, you need a skill that can pay you within months, not years. So let's run any skill you're considering through these 3 filters. Does it pay you directly? Does it compound? And does it earn within 90 days? The skill that actually passes all 3 filters is very rare, but it does 100% exist. Now, the skill I personally chose was high ticket sales. Why? Because it passes all 3 filters that I talked about. It pays directly because companies pay you a percentage of every single deal you close. You don't need a business to run it. You don't need to manage clients. You just have calls and commissions. And number 2, the second filter, it does compound. And let me explain why. The more reps you get, the better you get. And the better you get, the more you earn in this industry. Same skill, no algorithm changes, no platform shifts. And filter number 3, it also earns within 90 days if you're good enough at it. For example, most of my students learn their first commission-based role in less than 90 days, and they're making 3 to 5 grand a month in that period of time already. You see, 2 years ago today, I was 18. I was washing dishes in a little restaurant in Barcelona. I tried every single business model that I talked about today, and ultimately they all failed until I started learning sales. I got my first commission check within about 31 days of doing it, and ever since then, I've never really looked back, and I've now been able to build a company where I've taught over 40 other people to do the exact same thing and get very similar results to me. So if this video resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, and you actually want to learn this skill, there's 3 options below. There's first the free option, which is my inner circle on WhatsApp, where I have daily content, frameworks, case studies, wins. The link is also in the description. And the second option, $41 a month. It's a school community. You've got monthly live calls, you've got 50 plus hours of real sales calls recordings, job board with closing opportunities, and endless more things. Now, the third is my full one-on-one mentorship. Now, I work with a very small group of people with one-on-one access to myself, one-on-one calls, WhatsApp calls, whenever you need them. We've got 5 Q&A calls a week. And it's a 4-month program and it's application only. If you want to take a look at it, the link is jointhescprogram.com. There's a very short application form there that you can fill in. And if you're a right fit, then we'll be in touch with you. Then if not, then you'll be redirected to our other resources. But honestly, even if you don't do any of what I just said, even if it's the free, the paid one, or the full mentorship, it doesn't really matter. Just take what I gave you in this video and pick one skill and go all in on it. Just stop trying to learn 40 different skills. It doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, the leverage is in mastery and not being a jack of all trades, master of none. I'll see you on the next one.